Hey friends, welcome to another episode of the show. I'm Joe, and my guest today is president of Lake Superior College. It's a community college that sits on a bluff, beautiful bluff on Lake Superior, which is, for you that don't know, right? It's the largest freshwater lake in the planet by surface area. Some would argue, maybe some people in Montana, that other big lake. But this one we're going to argue is the best lake. It's because it's the most superior lake, right? A view from this campus, I've been up there before, and it's not accidental. The location of this institution, that's not accidental either. It's serving this community is not an accident. Duluth, Minnesota, it's one of my favorite cities of all time. It's genuinely one of the greatest American cities, folks. And let's keep that our best kept secret, right, Linda?
Absolutely.
It's got a port, it's got a hillside, it's got culture, it's got history, and sitting right in the middle of it all with the most direct line to the economic future of northeastern Minnesota is Lake Superior College. And somebody now that is at the helm of that flagship organization, Dr. Linda Kingston, president of Lake Superior College, just completed what PJ Fleck would call year zero. Hey,
Yes.
Doc.
Zero.
What
Hi.
is it like to be on the other end now of year zero? Have you had commencement yet?
Oh, yeah. We had commencement on Monday, and it was the absolute best day ever, right? I mean, what joy to be at that point where most people think it's the end of something, but commencement is really about beginning that next phase of life. So, what
By
a great honor.
definition. Yeah, definitely. By definition, it's the
Yeah,
beginning of all things,
it
right?
is really, or
Yeah, and
beginning
it's the
of the
beginning
next.
of a new,
Yeah.
it's the beginning of a new season for you. And back to PJ Fleck in Minnesota, calling this year zero. Some would say that's kind of an excuse. It's no, but it's not a warm up. It's not a probationary period, but a very deliberate intelligence gathering year is what I would call that. A year to learn the office, right?
Yeah.
What's
Oh,
actually true
yeah.
versus what people told you about what was true about that office. So
Yeah. Or even what
outside of the president ain't for everybody, what's the most important thing that you
yeah.
found out during year zero?
I think I found out just the ability that our people have and what our future is going to look like, right? And I needed that time to raise my own thinking to a different level and think of things more broadly across more than just academics and student affairs. So that was my year zero, was really just trying to break in and understand that level, that depth.
The depth, the gravitas, that bolt right up in the middle of the night, thinking truly about the weight of this. We'll go there. I oftentimes will talk to a group of executives and say, what's the most important thing that you do, right? What's the most, oftentimes I'll point to the president. I'll say, okay, what's the most important thing that she does? And everybody will say, well, listen, have listening sessions, communicate well. And I'll say, stop. That's what everybody says. Your most important decision thing that you do is you make great decisions. That's
Hopefully.
that's the only thing that you have to do to keep your preferred parking spot on that beautiful bluff on the beautiful campus. But you
Yeah.
think about just the gravitas, the weight of all of that. Most people don't have the shorts for that. I'll be just honest.
Hard. It's very hard, and there are some significant decisions that are going to be coming up in the next several years, and they're scary. But I think the decisions themselves aren't the hard thing. It's
Mm.
getting to them that is the hard thing, right? All of the thinking and all of the work that goes into it behind the scenes to get to a decision.
Yeah, and you can't do that in a vacuum. You're not
No.
making Toro snow throwers where it's just like, okay, we're going to redesign this thing without a whole lot of impact. I think the context. I mean, you've got just this whole ecology of higher ed within a short view. You've got UMB, you've got Scholastica, you've got LSE and others. You're not leading in that vacuum either. You're leading in a city where students and families have real choices,
They
right?
do. And yeah, and one of our best messages has been that Lake Superior College has been the top choice. And we've used that as a tagline, but it's not just a tagline, it's truth. If you look at where students in our area go, they come to us. And they come to us because they know and we know that we're going to get them prepared for whatever is their next step. So that's been fun for me.
I love that. I love that. The best choice. It's your, I mean,
Yeah.
it's not their only choice, but if you can say it's your best choice. And here's the other thing, contextually, community colleges nationally have been in a demographic and enrollment battle since COVID. It's just all things have changed. There's not a trail map for where most leaders are going right now because nobody's gone there before. The sector is under pressure. We don't have to unpack all of that because it's going to make me have a really bad day. But they're just not making any more 18-year-olds. They're just
Right.
right. Shifting workforce patterns, AI disrupting how students find and choose institutions. And you did this year zero inside of that environment, right? So,
Yeah.
what are you seeing that's happening in this sector right now that the
So
national conversation just maybe isn't getting right now?
So for me, there was a light bulb moment that I had a few years ago. I was at the Higher Learning Commission conference and I heard a speaker and I bought their book and it's called The Great Upheaval.
Yes.
Arthur Levine and Scott Van Pelt.
Yes.
Um, and that book changed everything about how I thought about higher education. And it made me a little scared at first because we are so far behind in making the changes that we need to make. But at the same time, I found an organization, it's called CBEN, the Competency Based Education Network. And that is what we are looking at as a college, is how can we keep that level of learning really high and make those competencies really strong, but vary the amount of time that it might take a student to get through it. So if you come in with some experience, you might go through a module or through a competency a little bit faster than somebody else. But if it's something you've never experienced, maybe it takes longer. So for me and for our institution, that's just one of the things that we're looking at to open up that access and opportunity for a completely different set of students.
I can't think of a better thing to talk about than just like bending the arc of tradition. Yes, tradition's a good thing, but if it's slowing our ability to truly have access, to truly have equitable opportunities to all students, I met with the superintendent yesterday who said, I said, if you could change one thing, because he was like 30 days until retirement and a long, very decorated career in one of the most highly successful school districts in the nation. I said, if he could change one thing in our broken system, because we both agreed it's a broken system, he said, I want to get rid of the grade bands where you're like in first or second or third grade, and that determines what experiences you have. Right.
Yeah.
Or this 45-minute or 50-minute class period when the learning starts at minute 60. It's like,
Right.
So competency based, I think that falls within the same line of just troublemaking for good for students, the students that you serve, because they're not all coming to you just as like just this universal homogeneic like, okay, here's what all students need. No, they're all different, and it's a level of diversity that we're not talking about enough.
Well, and it's something that I don't know that we're quite prepared for, given the system of education that we have.
True.
And
Not yet.
Correct. Yeah, I challenged. So we still work within the credit system. We still work within the Carnegie unit. And there are other institutions out there that are doing it differently. And so I'm challenging my people to go look at those institutions and seeing how they're doing it. And I challenged them just the other day to think about, what if a student could start a program on the first week of every month? What would that look like? It completely bends everything we know about education. And it causes us to really think about, how are we showing up for the ones that need it tomorrow? And right now we're not serving them. Yeah. And by the time it gets to fall semester, they've moved on. So we need to be a little bit more flexible and adaptable to what our students are needing to get them to where they want to go in the future.
And at the same time, you need to start making those decisions to preempt some of these creative solutions that you need to put into play. So it's almost, you need the right leaders that care to the attention and detail, but also have the strategic acumen to be able to see beyond current problems and say, here is that preferred future, and we're going to build it almost like in line with the students that we serve.
Yep. And that's, I think, something that we excel at is kind of building the plane as it flies.
True. Yes.
Um, and I have to tell you, when you say the word leader, a lot of people are going to think that it's presidents or VPs or deans. But the reality is our leaders come at every level of our organization. And the people who need to be in that room and helping make those decisions are the people who do it every day.
Yeah.
And they may not have a title, but they have the knowledge and the know-how to make it work. And those are the people that I want to tap at Lake Superior College.
We're doing quite a bit of work just around this topic of burnout right now, and it's inclusive to all. It's not just leadership burnout. It
Right.
is all people burnout, because we are trying to work in fragmented systems, right? That don't open up the channels to say, hey, is there a way that this could be touched 2 times instead of 7 times, right? And the best people to answer that happen to be downline the organization doing the work. So
Yeah.
it's having those opportunities to truly be open and honest and genuine and
Yeah.
delightful to those that are doing the work with the boots on the ground. And again, I know that that's your leadership temperament, because I know that is you as a person. You deeply care about all. You just
Yeah.
have this privilege now of being able to serve from the chair. But my guess is you're having those conversations on a regular basis to say, you know what, how do we thin this thing out? Because you must.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I brought in a consultant. That's one of the best parts about this job is I get to decide where I spend my money. And so I'm spending it on helping to develop competency base, but I'm also spending it on those exact people who need to identify where those efficiency lies so that we can use them for their skills. And people don't go into education because they want to sit behind a screen. They go into education because they want to help students.
So true.
And so if we can use our staff to their greatest potential to help people and use tools to do the behind the scenes efficiency work,
Exactly.
that's what we're going to try to do.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. And finally, I think the broken system is because we're trying to do both the tool side and the engagement side. But if something can take over, and we're not going to open up that topic today, but I think it makes all things possible in
It does.
education. Yeah.
It
I
does.
want to
Yeah.
talk about pipelines and partnerships, because my personal belief is you build programs based upon your partner's desires, not the preferences of the people on the inside. I might get thrown out of here for having that type of a opinion, but I
No,
know that you serve a rich ecology of industry partners and workforce. So you've got your K-12 partners, Duluth Public Schools, you've got all the Iron Range districts, you got the North Shore communities. If LSC doesn't have a genuine open door relationship with those systems, I mean, let's just be honest, not a transactional one, an actual partnership, then that prosperity, of Duluth's geography suggests that it's possible. It doesn't give families and students what it needs most. What did this year zero? What did it tell you about that state of the pipeline in K-12?
So we are actively working really hard right now to improve that pipeline. And one of the ways that we're doing that is with something called the Duluth Promise. And it's a coalition of chamber, workforce development, Apex, which is an economic development organization, all of the higher ed partners, and I do mean all of them. So UMD, Scholastica, Fond du Lac, Tribal and Community College, Lake Superior College, we're all at the table, along with our K-12 partner, the Duluth School District, and with our industry partners as well. And we are focusing on healthcare right now, but we're trying to build a model that can scale into other industries. But what we're looking at is, what is it that our industry partners really need? How do we get students a clear pathway, regardless of how old they are or where they're at in their journey, that gives them a clear path through education to that healthcare industry with all of the various on and off ramps, but help them see it clearly so they don't have to hunt it down. And one of the things that we just created is we created a matrix of people, personas, if you will. So high school students that are not quote unquote college bound,
Sure.
or students who are university bound, or people who are maybe mid-career. And what are the barriers to accessing not only education, but that next step in their career?
Hey friends, quick question before we get back to it. I know that you have talented people on your leadership team, but is your team actually performing to its full potential? Most aren't, and most don't know why. The Team Intelligence Assessment is a solution to change that. Find out where your team stands at higherperformancegroup.com. Go to find your starting point to get started today, or click the QR code in the screen right here. All right, back to the show.
And I'm really proud to be part of that group because it feels like we are addressing the pipeline need together. And that's really, I think, what community colleges excel at, is working with our community to help our students at all ages and stages to get to that next level.
I so appreciate the fact that you drew a singularity of purpose. The objective on the other end is the one thing. I've been a part of various prosperity initiatives that consider all things, and they're fun startups, but nothing really gets established. So
Right.
your wisdom to say, let's just focus on the healthcare piece. And once that's established, my guess is you're going to scale to
Yes.
other sectors altogether, but you'll have a proven practice, right? That's not
Correct.
best practice, because best practice that's back there someplace. It's better practices.
Right. Well, and it's practice that's intended for our communities, right? Our Arrowhead region. What do we need and how do we get there?
So let's look back again on this year zero thing, okay?
Yeah.
And I want to focus on you, Linda. What is the one thing that you know about yourself as a leader that you probably could have only learned by stepping out of the VP role, right, into this new office, into the president's chair? Not what you learned about LSC or Duluth from that perch, but what did you learn about you? Fair question.
Yeah. I'm still learning it, to be honest. My career has been pretty linear. You know, I came up through the academic ranks, but I never aspired to be a president. And so it kind of came to be. And in all honesty, didn't know if I had what it took. And I think this year zero has given me a little bit of perspective, perhaps, into the strength that I have. It's been a little lonely, but I think I have it. And I'm going to spend the next couple of years trying to build on that strength and that confidence that I'm starting to get to be the best president that I can be.
I profile people for a living, and in a good way, And you definitely strike me as somebody that was probably drug up to the office, and not like you had your hand up for years saying, please pick me, please, because you have climbers out there that are just aspirational, but I'm not going to get into that. You are a builder. You're somebody that has built at every step along the way, legitimately. Right? I think you care deeply about what is being produced and the level of impact that you're making, not just the prestige of the of the office. So, and that typically is the case when you have somebody with that personality type, with that disposition. It's like, I don't know if I even belong here. That's the stuff that talks between the ears that oftentimes interferes with doing the work. So I'm trusting that this year zero has given you some confidence, that your M-State colleagues have also just been there to go, you're killing it. You're absolutely killing it. What are some real proud moments this year in terms of just overall results that you're seeing where you can point to that saying, we're on the grow. Things are happening. We've got momentum.
I think the most proud thing for me, and I think you can relate to this, is we started a program called Life at LSC. And LIFE stands for Learning is for Everyone. And It is a program for young adults with cognitive disabilities. My daughter has Down syndrome and had the opportunity to go to college because she saw her sisters go to college, and she made up her mind that that's what she was going to do. And it has been my goal for a very, very long time for a college that I work at to have a program for those students. And we are going to be bringing in a small cohort in the fall, and we're going to be getting it certified so that financial aid can help cover that expense. And that, I think, is probably my most proud moment.
You're going to get me all teared up here, boss. Honestly, it's like, yeah, that's rich. That's special.
Yeah, I know.
So good. So good. And for those viewing, you just need to know that there's just more going on. It's good. Family's family. And our experiences are our experiences. As long as we're just being as real as we are here, I'm going to pivot from this, just the year zero thing, into just you just delightfully as a human being. We have this thing called the lightning round, where I ask you some personal questions, and you just, whatever's just front of mind. Okay. Rapid fire. So the first question, is there a quote that you live by?
Yes. Our greatest struggles give us our greatest rewards.
That is so good. How timely. Timeless and timely.
Yeah.
How about worst advice that you've ever received in leading people?
Show your power early and often.
I can just picture the person that said that. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's turn that minor key into a major one. What's the best advice that you've ever received?
Two things. Number one, take time to listen to your people.
Yeah.
They usually have the better ideas. And the second thing is always take time to reflect and identify the things that you did well and you could do better next time.
So good. How about an unpopular opinion that you're just really eager to defend?
Well,
be careful.
I know. That college, that university is for everyone, right? Or college is for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
It may not be popular because there are still students that think of themselves as not college bound, right? But my thing is, learning is for everybody. Learning is for everybody. And that's the kind of that idea about life. It is for every single person. And whether you get that from a 4-year university, you come to a 2-year college like mine, where you're going to feel really involved and invested, or you do that in another way, learning is for everybody.
I see it as an infinity loop that just, and it's for all the time, right? There's no graduating from any learning. It's an all the time event. So how about something that you've changed your mind about recently?
I think I have always tried and wanted to be all things to all people. And I have realized in this last year that is just not a possibility. And I'm okay with that. I kind of read the Mel Robbins book over Christmas called Let Them Theory.
Let Them.
Yep.
Right.
And that has become my new mantra. But as she will admit, it's the second half that's most important. Right?
Yeah. And I tried at home and it doesn't work very well there, just so you know. How about this year zero thing, a decision that you made in year zero that you'd do 10 times over again?
Not rushing personnel decisions. I needed to take, hire slow. Yeah, I need to take the time to see what it is that we need, and then we can roll out that plan.
Mm-hmm. It's not just a line to fill. It's a new day.
Right?
A new day.
Yeah.
All right, we're going throwback here, and there will only be 2 people in this space that will understand this. So Bronze Bakery or Quick Trip Glazier?
Bronze Bakery, hands down.
Hands down.
Hands
That
down.
25 cents. I remember as a kid just putting a quarter up there and getting one of those, what do you call
The fried cinnamon
bear
rolls.
claw,
Oh, the bear claws.
the
Yeah.
bear claws.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nothing
Yeah.
better. Nothing
My,
better before basketball practice.
my dad will be so proud.
Ah, this is unpaid sponsorships right
Yeah.
here, right here.
Yeah.
Okay, having spent a bit of time in Duluth, the lift bridge at sunrise or a good snarky Lake Superior storm in November. What's more awe-inspiring?
They're both so beautiful, but I will take a really good thunderstorm any day of the week because lightning intrigues me.
Yes, yes, yes. If you weren't running the college, what would you be doing?
You know, I thought long and hard about being an attorney at some point in my life, but the education world calls me, and I'd probably be back in the classroom teaching.
The ultimate gift to students again. A word or a phrase for LSC's future?
Potential.
Love
Nothing
it.
but potential.
Love it. In all fairness, any questions for me?
Your favorite book or podcast?
The favorite book would be the one that I'm writing at the moment.
Nice.
And if you ask me in a year, it'll be the one that I'm writing at that moment. I wish I had time to read anymore. I write. I just write to stay focused to the writing. So, and podcasts, it would be the one that I'm doing right now.
Well, there you go.
There you go. There you go. Dr. Linda and everybody watching here, we got to wrap this thing up because you've got important things to do. You're running fast and lifting heavy things. I think here's the lesson. This year zero thing is a real thing. So if you're an emerging leader thinking about, okay, how does that transition thing kind of work? We didn't tell you all, but we gave you some pretty good experiences here from a leader that has done it with really just some good hiking boots on the floor at all times, right? Very, very practical, very, very functional. If Linda, if there's a leader out there that just maybe needs one more little nudge of encouragement or just some wisdom of, oh, it might be a year away and I might be where Dr. Kingston is at. What advice, what wisdom, what encouragement would you give them with somebody that's got some of that interference in their head going, I don't know if I got what it takes?
You know, I would do a few things. First of all, really figure out why you want to do it. If you don't know your personal why, which is a Simon Sinek thing, I know, but
Right.
if you don't have that, then you don't know where you're going. And then the second thing that I would encourage everybody to do are go to some of the opportunities, the training opportunities that exist. There are so many executive leadership opportunities, and being immersed in those types of areas and getting help and listening to others that are in a same space as you really helps clarify for you if that step is the right step to take.
That's about as practical and as rich as it gets. Dr. Linda Kingston, thank you so much. If people want to learn more about LSC,
LSC.edu.
Okay. How about the Duluth Promise thing? Is there something to maybe keep on the watch?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, I'd be watching what we're doing in that high school space.
I'm sure people can Google and find out what's happening in that space because you're not wrapping anything up. It's going to be something that continues, my guess. And for any community that is interested in maybe pulling together, congealing a group of higher ed, like you said, chamber, business, all of that coming together to think more broadly and more meta. That I think that's a wonderful model. And folks,